It's a wet and beautiful Monday morning in Lagos, the economic capital of West Africa, and you are welcome to Enterprise Television. I am Kengbe Bodin.
And I am Henry Igwebiki.
All right, we'll kick off with today's newspaper review before diving into the main conversation of the day. Trust me, you don't want to miss a moment. You can join the conversation by dropping your comments, liking, and following us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. Now, joining us to share the matters at hand is Barrister Evans Ufeli, a barrister and a public affairs analyst. And also we have Emeka Magnago, who will be joining us virtually. He's a journalist and public affairs analyst. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning, Barrister.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah. Emeka, good morning to you. All right, I guess he would join us as we try to fix whatever it is that's the problem there. Emeka, are you there with us? Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I can hear you. Good morning.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so very much for your time. So let's kickstart today, interestingly, from the Vanguard newspaper. We have an interesting story there, and it is on Rivers. Rivers people deserve to know agreement between Tinubu and Fubara, and that's coming from an Q Briggs. And I'd love to maybe just take a deep dive into that particular story. Niger Delta right activist and Q Briggs has demanded transparency on the terms of agreement reached between Governor Simenalayi Fubara and President Bola Tinubu before the end of the 6 months emergency rule in Rivers. She further stated that the people of the state, that is Rivers, had the right to know what was agreed behind closed doors, warning that silence could erode the governor's credibility. Barrister, I'd love to start with you on this particular one. Do you think Nigerians should take it seriously, especially what is coming from the activist?
Very well. The people of Rivers State are the ones who, Fubara, have their mandates. Okay? And the science of mandate in political science is that if I donate my allegiance to you, I do that through voting. Okay. And what I'm saying in effect is that I am giving you my allegiance to go govern my affairs, my resources. Okay. And what I expect in return, okay, is performance and accountability. Okay. So part of the accountability that Fubara owes the people of Rivers State is to make all disclosures.
Okay? Everything.
Yes. They went into a meeting during the pendency of the state of emergency, and in the course of doing that, they had a very tight meeting wherein press were not allowed in. Ordinarily, it's the job of the press, okay, to hold government accountable to the people. But in the absence of the press, okay, whoever holds the mandate of the people must do that. And it's Fubara that holds the mandate of the people. So that question is very poignant. I mean, I've said this, that it's too early to say that peace has returned in Rivers State, especially when you have, when 40 cases are still in court. I mean, 40 cases is not joke. 40 cases were filed against the emergency rule, and they are still pending. So, it is important that Fubara understands the position he occupies and make that disclosure. Even though you may want to say that in politics, if the disclosure is one that is at variance with the yearnings and aspiration of the people of Rivers State, the president may interpret it to mean betrayal or whatever it is. Yeah. But ultimately, nothing should be hidden in governance. If not that we're playing politics of vendetta and bitterness, wherein you say it is your turn to be president, wherein you talk to a democratically elected governor, you tell him what he will do and what he will not do. You tell him not to contest again, or tell him that if he returns, this is what he will do and this is what he will not do, and things like that. So when we have that kind of situation, we're not working in the interests of the people. We're now working at cross purpose with the yearnings and aspiration of the people who have the mandate, and then we're promoting other interests. Okay, we can no longer have the mandate of the people of Rivers State, okay, to govern as at today. But he wants his own interest and overbearing influence to supersede that of the people. And so he's working in concert with the president to ensure that that which he wants is what must happen in Rivers State. And He's just one vote. He's just one vote. So the people of Rivers State deserve to know. Well, I don't know how Fubara is going to do it, but that's the truth. The woman just said the truth. They deserve to know. They must know, because now everywhere has been silent. It has resumed. Nobody knows the direction of policy or the direction of governance or exactly what it's going to do. So that call is necessary and very timeless.
Very necessary. Emeka, I'd love for you to go on this. Of course, everyone had been asked to shield their sword. And for governance, like Siminalayi Fubara had promised that he would continue with good governance and ensure that structures, infrastructures and other things actually that are yet to be built or completed, that he would do it. Don't you think that is the most important thing at this point, rather than asking him to reflect on things that lots of people will think everyone should forget?
Yeah, thank you very much. Basically, Fubara was elected to serve the interests of the people of Rivers State. And what's their interest? The Constitution says the safety and well-being of the people. Now, that is their interest. So, other issues are actually tangential, but you cannot ignore their significance. You cannot ignore their importance, because after all, it's about politics. It's politicking that got Fubara into that office. So you cannot ignore those tangential issues, that led to his being elected. But that being said, what Akio Briggs called for, yes, what Fubara agreed with Tinubu. I mean, for instance, Ibas, the sole administrator, was, he actually promised to complete infrastructural projects, but he didn't complete any. He promised to complete the House of Assembly. He didn't complete the House of Assembly. The streets of Port Harcourt were strewn with, refuse. So actually, what did he complete? Even the local government election was a sham. So what exactly did he complete? The owner of the mandate has come back, and said that he will, do all those things. And don't forget that at that time of the state of emergency, that Fubara had actually promised to rebuild the House of Assembly, and he had actually gone far with it. He was about to get it completed when his legitimate mandate was stolen from him, albeit temporarily. But it is a lesson that we must at all times, explore dialogue as much, as lies in us, because if we opt for the path of war or, wonky negotiations, this kind of dubious, state of emergency, we'll just end up, doing nothing. The money of the people of Rivers State has been wasted for 6 months on nothing, just appointing people into office. People, without a vision or money, just because simply one man called Nyesom Wike, who's the minister of the FCT, has refused to at least get over himself and work with Fubara. Rather, he prefers to lord it over Fubara. And, because of the kind of democracy we operate, people think they can just, thwart, they can truncate democratic rule. But I hope we'll get to the point where we'll realize that this emergency rule that we started in 1962 up till now has not served any purpose. Go to Plateau State, go to Ekiti State, where as emergency, do the people even remember they had anything like that? They don't. No visible impact, nothing, no legacy by the administrators. They were just interrupting agents. And, it's better they just go, that we don't have such a thing again. Thank you.
Could failure the state to litigation from civil society or rights group?
That might be possible.
Okay,
that might be possible because it is only criminal litigation that the governor is shielded away from by Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution. the governor can be investigated while he's in office.
Okay.
Yes. And you can make calls, I mean, through protests and through different kind of platform to a governor to act in a particular way. So it is important, as much as possible, it should be able to disclose whatever it is. This might be a tough one for him. And it should also govern in a way that will not cause that reminder to happen. You know what I mean is, it should be as transparent as possible, and it should forge ahead. Okay, do that which you ought to do. Make sure that the state is up and running. Because as we speak now, the administrator that just left, they did practically nothing. He did practically nothing. There's a news item that says that he's asking that he should not be probed or something like that.
Yes, basically, we're actually going to get to that, and if possible, let's just get to that so that you can, follow up on that particular question. It's on the Punch newspaper, and it's a big story. Ibas rejects Assembly's move to probe 6-month spending, and there's a rider, very interesting one here to that same story. Ex-administrator insists lawmakers lack power to question tenor, and CSOs urge Fubara to hold Ibas accountable. Yes,
he cannot say they lack power to do that, because he, as an administrator, he lacked the power to manage that state in the first place. He cannot talk about illegality. You understand? He that comes to equity must come with clean hands. Ibas cannot talk about illegality because he is a byproduct of illegality. He was formed, pampered, managed, and produced by illegality. So there's nothing he can say. But besides, the Constitution actually empowered the State House of Assembly to manage resources of state, to make approvals for spending and the rest of that. Even when the governor of the state prepares an executive bill, which is an appropriation bill, it cannot become a law until the State House of Assembly has gone through it and make their necessary input before they send back for assent. You understand? So anything that has to do with revenue of a state is in the purview of the State House of Assembly.
That is
for
when
the country is in the purview of the National Assembly.
But at a point when we had the sole administrator, they weren't effective actually. So
yeah, they weren't effective,
yes.
But it's still Rivers State. They must account for it, yes.
But knowing that everything that passed, especially the budget, went through the conduit of the Federal House.
Yes.
Right? So who should be answerable to who now?
No. the State House of that does not extricate the State House of Assembly from probing the finance and the resources of a state. It is their, in fact, it's their primary responsibility to probe and determine the revenue of it. Because the truth is this. Okay, at the end of every year, there's what you do. Come with a statement. You have an accounting process, an auditing process, an accounting process for which auditors will have to rely on information from the State House of Assembly, which is actually the institution responsible for revenue in the states. You understand? So what would they be telling the auditors, or how would they come up with that accounting process or auditing process for it? They have to probe it. It's their duty. They were suspended does not mean they have been completely extricated from their responsibility. They will have to, if they don't do that, they will be in dereliction of their duties, because the people of Rivers State will call on them to do the needful. And who is even afraid of probe? Okay? It's part of governance. It's part of what they call transparency. The people of that state, we see when politicians, when they campaign and they say for transparency and this, for that, and that, and that, transparency is key in democracy. That is the only way people can evaluate your stewardship. And that stewardship, you don't need to be scared about it if you have done the right thing. You understand? What is it hiding? So the State of Assembly have a duty to do that. And it's their responsibility to so do. So they will undertake that process. It's very important.
Well, I'm actually questioning and asking if it's even possible to probe illegality. Emeka, on this particular sport, because don't you think this is directly stepping on the toes of Nyesom Wike? Because everything that happened in the 6 months was made possible allegedly by Nyesom Wike. So the lawmakers, state lawmakers, asking to probe the sole administrator that was brought in by Nyesom Wike in cahoot with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, don't you think is a direct, poking into the eye of Nyesom Wike at this point?
No, all these things are just to divert attention. You see, if you understand the psychology of distractive governance, the type practice in Nigeria, you will see, you read between the lines. They will, when people in power are not performing well, they throw distractions at the people. But they think the people remain perpetually ignorant or gullible. They forget that the people will get to a point where they graduate, rise above their distraction. And this is just a distraction. Nothing is intended to be done or to be achieved from it. So I just think you should just leave them. They just want people to feel that, they are trying to do something. They have nothing. They have nothing to achieve now. There's nothing. So just a while away time. This is already September now. By maybe first week of December, they'll go on recess now. They'll go on recess. So just use this period to at least claim from some funds for sitting, for probe, for another probe. Just make some money, After all, I learned that they received brand new jeeps after they returned to sitting. They received brand new jeeps, so brand new SUVs. So just a distraction. Don't mind them. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Emeka. So, Barrister, can a judicial commission of inquiry be set up in this kind of scenario?
It depends on what the state wants to do. I mean, it depends on how serious the state want to take this, how far they want to take it to. I don't think a judicial plan of inquiry is required here, since you have the State House of Assembly already had defined what they want to do. They want to probe it, okay? Yeah. The judicial plan of inquiry might be necessary when there's an altercation between the public and the state. Maybe there have been protests that led to whatever, or maybe there have been some issues like we saw the NSAS and all that, and then it's required that a neutral third party, so usually government will now appoint someone who may be a retired judge or whosoever, or an IG or a retired IG or something, to now look at the situation and make reports to the government. So that one is in a different situation entirely. Well, in the case under reference, if truly they are serious, because Emeka talk about the seriousness or otherwise of these people, that maybe it's a smoke screen.
Yes.
No part is wrong, right? Whether they are serious, they are not serious. The analysis is that the major question that underscores this whole discourse is whether or not parliaments have a right under the law to probe financial impropriety or otherwise. I mean, I'm saying that by law they have a right to do that. Okay. So as to whether they are serious about it, it's a different argument entirely, a different expression entirely. But they have the right under the law. They are covered under the law to do that. And the sole administrator does not have such rights to preclude them from doing what they want to do. And the truth is that he does not even have the power to litigate the issue. It's like an illegal contract. An illegal contract, you cannot enforce it under the law. You understand? It's like saying that someone who is a prostitute, for example, had gone to do her business and was not paid. Then she now goes to court to tell the court that the contract that we entered into says this and that. Which contract? The contract is an illegal contract. It lacks morality. So in the case of Ibas, the whatever it is that took him to that place to become an administrator, it's not even legal. I know there are people who want to argue that the matter is before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court have not said it's illegal or not. My answer to those people is whether the Supreme Court is ready after 5 months are they still interested in that case? Some persons have said it has become an academic exercise. And I say whether an academic exercise or not, the court has a duty to the public to deliver a ruling on that matter because of the fact that we need to put a rest to this case so that the president will know where his power starts and ends under section 305 of the Constitution. Yes, because the president appears not to know where his power ends, but he knows where it starts. Section 305 says the president has the power to declare state of emergency when there is turbulence, insurrection, pestilence, disease, war, clear and present danger. That's the expression. Clear and present danger. What is clear and present danger? That's the president of 305. But as to where it ends, the president does not know, and there's no precedent. The last time we were supposed to fix this was when the president declared state of emergency. President Obasanjo declared state of emergency in Plateau State, and then Joshua Dare, the Attorney General of the state went to court. You understand? Then the Attorney General of the Federation then now filed a preliminary objection. And the preliminary objection, he argued that the state Attorney General is no longer an Attorney General, having been sacked together with...
Really?
Yes, so the preliminary objection was upheld by the court. Now, the moment it was upheld by the court never went back to the substantive suit. And that was how that opportunity slipped off our hands. Now, in 2025, we stumbled into the same issue of whether or not the president have a right to declare a state of emergency and remove a state governor. The matter is before the court. 5 months now, the court have not determined it. I would have thought that the court will use the opportunity, even after the pendency, the court will use the opportunity to put a rest to that matter and make a pronouncement, so that pronouncement can become, because the law is what the court say the law is and nothing more pretentious. So the law is not what is in the textbook or what is in the Constitution or what is anywhere. The law is what the court say the law is. When the court interprets it, that's where the law is. That is why Lord Dennis said, God forbid that I know all the law. But I know where to source the law, I know where to find the law. And that is through precedent, court pronouncement, and the rest of that. That is why it is said that it is not the legislature only that make laws, that the judiciary make laws through case laws, pronouncements, and the rest of that.
All right, that's an awesome expose there. And just to let us know that in the 6 months under reference, the federal government paid 256.4 billion naira to Rivers State in the hands of Ibas. From March till September, 256 billion was actually paid to Ibas to manage the state. I guess this is more than enough reason for him to come actually answer some questions there. But let's move on to the Vanguard just before we call it a queue for this particular segment. We have on the top strip, Otedola to Dapman, your business model outdated, Dangote transforming a petroleum sector. Barrister, of course, there's no given here. Otedola is a very good friend of Dangote, their buddies. So it's okay for him to defend his friend's business, even if there are issues that I think he would have looked into that might not be okay with the other party. What's your take on this?
Well, these are big men fighting. When rich men are fighting and they leave analysis for poor men to do, I just see that there's nothing much to say about this, other than to call the warring party to come to the negotiating table and resolve the dispute. Yes, because each time they fight dirty like this, the ordinary person on the street is the one that suffers. Either we start to incur scarcity, or because Nigeria is a country where individuals are so powerful that the decisions of individuals sometimes can even cripple the economy. Not government now. but the decisions of very powerful people can cripple the economy. Well, it's like that all over the world too. We'll see how that Elon Musk can take a decision about cryptocurrency now, and you begin to hear Donald Trump can take one decision now. He took one decision now this weekend.
Yeah.
imposing the EB1 visa category. Yeah. Now imposing a 10,000. Is it 10,000 or 1,000? $10,000 this thing to it for the employer and all that. Employer. So the whole thing is just for them to resolve their dispute. That's why I don't want to go into $100,000. The deep analysis is taking us nowhere. What are we going to learn from that? They should resolve the dispute so that they can continue to manage the economy the way it is, pending when things get improved.
All right. Emeka, I would love us to maybe talk deeper on this particular one. You know how to go find out where the problem is. Emeka, please help us. What do you think is there for Dangote to learn, really? I know, of course, he has said he's deploying 4,000 trucks. And according to him, that every driver, in fact, he said as a result of deploying 4,000 trucks, he's going to be making available 26,000 jobs. And every driver will be making 4 times the minimum wage. And equally had a bait there that members of IPMAN can come and register with him and become drivers. Emeka, I would love to have your say on this. Don't you think that is already one man taking over the industry?
That's why I say that, look, Nigeria's problems are so easy to resolve. Honestly speaking, if I was in government, I'll be having a jolly time more. Nigeria doesn't have problems, sincerely speaking. Somebody has come up. You gave him a license. Others came up to you. I mean, you have 20 refinery licenses. Out of 20 refinery licenses, NNPC is holding 4. They are moribund. Dangote is holding 1. Then you have some others here and there, Water Smith, Edo Refinery, Abua is coming up. The big problem, why we had this subsidy that P2B said the criminality subsidy is very simple. That bridging, you see the bridging things they were paying then to make sure that that petroleum products were sold at the same price all over the country. That was the big elephant in the room. That was the elephant in the room. Because what it meant was that, government will pay bridging claims. Somebody says, I'm taking a tanker to Medugri. And he just gets out of Lagos, gets to Ibafo, empties everything, especially diesel. Sell some diesel at Ibafo, get some away, sell some diesel. Get to Shagamu, just be selling to black market on the way.
I think we have.
He will make times 3. No, he will make times. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, he will make. So people were making those false claims. That was why subsidy ballooned under Jonathan, because people were making false claims. So now when President Tinubu, the Petroleum Industry Act now abolished bridging claims, abolished, some of those agencies that were paying those bridging claims and all of those things. Now, that was the essence of deregulation. So, with the license Dangote said they had 500 million liters of PMS. People were still importing. Why? Because, you see, who DPR, that's not NMDPRA, lacks the courage, lacks the expertise to tell Nigerians truly how much petrol products were being imported. That was why you had a probe in the National Assembly that ended up getting nowhere. Why? Because people were making so much money from filing false claims. And then, after they have filed their false claims at the port, you still pay them money as bridging claims. But then Dangote has come out and said, wait a minute. One, I am going to make sure that I control the distribution. Now, look at it. You see, people were talking of monopoly, but they were just being dishonest and mischievous. Dangote Cement, he is not the one directly controlling those trucks. Those trucks are actually concession. They're actually outsourced to certain companies, some of his distributors. There are even people who take Dangote logo and put on their trucks because they believe it gives them, safe pass through police checkpoints, army checkpoints, and all of that, and they don't have to pay any bribe. That's why recently Dangote was warning people to stop putting his the logo of his company on their trucks. Now, somebody bringing in 4,000 trucks. Ipman said they were ready to discuss with him. No thing that has turned itself into a big problem in the oil industry that people have not been looking at. They have now turned unionism into a lucrative extortion venture. Quote me anywhere. So at any point in time, they will say we are going on strike. Then maybe 2 hours to the conclusion of the affair, they'll say no, they've called it off. Why? Because government would have quickly arranged some settlement for them. So, but now with deregulation, it is no longer government paying you subsidy or paying all those unnecessary fees. It is now the private sector interfacing with it. And that's why they're trying to go on strike. But the court has told them that they cannot do it. As a matter of fact, look, Nopeng, Dapman, all of those of them, or Petro and all of those of them opposing Dangote are just wasting their time. Femi Tedla told them the truth. That their business model is outdated. You can't continue living on extortion. You are saying now that because you're not getting subsidy from federal government, you are not telling Dangote that I should pay you subsidy. Even for trucks that have not left his yard, that have not even been loaded at the gantry. I used to be into cement business. Was anybody paying us subsidy? I was in cement business in the late 80s, in the 90s. Was anybody paying us subsidy? We will go there, sometimes we'll spend 3 nights, waiting for our trucks to be loaded. I was a very young boy, but I saw a lot of things. Because I was working with my father. We were doing holiday. I would go with the trucks from Benin to Shagamu, Portland Cement. Then it was not at Portland Cement. We wait. Sometimes 2 nights, sometimes 3 nights, sleeping in the truck with mosquitoes dealing with us, fighting a civil war with us. But at the end of the day, we will go, load, and go away. But now, and nobody cares where you are taking the cement to. But people want government to pay them at source for products that you are not even sure where it's going to. And that was the criminality that Peter was talking about. Removing the criminality in the downstream sector of the oil industry. So I commend Dangote. If anybody has money, I think this is even the best time for people to come together and say, okay, let's say in the southeast, let us set up a depot. Now, now what we need to do is that, okay, Dangote can supply us through Port Harcourt or through Onne, but pack your ship there, and then from there, supply us wherever. You can even have smaller barges, 30-ton barges. I can go through the rivers, River Orashi, go to Uguta, go to Onitsha, and all of that. And then supply petrol products to the southeast. Even up to Kogi, if government agrees to dredge the River Niger. Take barges up the River Niger, up to Barrow Port in Kogi State, and all of that. And all of this stuff we are just talking about will come to an end. So it's good that Dangote has decided to head them off. Those talking of monopoly are just, saying things that if you want to start monopoly, bring in money, put your money where your mouth is. Invest. And then let's know that you don't want a monopoly. But to say that what Dangote is doing is wrong, no way. Even to please them, he has added 75 naira. He said, look at it. He has added 75 naira to the cost of his product. Other marketers too have added money because of their product, so that there won't be a problem. What more do they want? Why must Nigerians keep Nigerians in perpetual suffering? It's wrong. Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much, Emeka. Of course, we're running a free market economy, and everyone has the right to, to do whatever it is that they want to do. And if Dangote decides to make Nigerians happy, for the products that he will be giving them, I think that it should be respected, and others should equally find alternatives to compete if they have to. Of course, we'll be running on to our main conversation in a bit. Both gentlemen, Barrister and Emeka, will still be here to take us on that particular one. That is when we return. Obasanjo challenges Nigerians to prove third-term ambition. That in a bit is still Enterprise Morning. Please don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back.
My people, the elections are around the corner. Before you know it, it will be 2027. But before then, for you to partake in the election, you must have your voter's card. And for you to have your voter's card, you must register. INEC has rolled out the drums. We call this program Continuous Voters Registration. And it is for you to register. This is to do that if you want to vote. And it's important that you take part in the process of voting. Just go there, give them your name and your address. That's all. And of course, they will capture you, take your picture, and that's all. You are done. Within 5 minutes, you are done. And after that, when the time comes, they call it claims and objection time. That's when you look at it. They will paste all the results or the names of those that have registered all over the places. You will go to the place you register, check your name that is well spelled, and the information you've given them correct. And that's all. After some time again, they will tell you that your voter's card is ready. You go and pick it. That is all. Be a good Nigerian citizen. Partake in the process, because it's a duty imposed on you by Section 23 of the 1999 Constitution as a good citizen. And you will be better off by voting, because you have your mind that, yes, you voted right. I'm Wale Ogunade, constitutional lawyer, human rights activist, and President, Voters Awareness Initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for joining us. This is still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our conversation for today. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has challenged anyone with evidence that he sought a third term in office to present it publicly. Speaking on Wednesday at the Democracy Dialogue organized by the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation in Accra, Ghana, the ex-president dismissed long-standing claims that he ever attempted to extend his tenure.
Very true. Obasanjo insisted that no Nigerian, living or dead, could truthfully claim he asked for a third term. I am not a fool. If I wanted a third term, I know how to go about it. And there is no Nigerian, dead or alive, who can say I called him and said I wanted it, he declared.
Very well, and equally drawing from his record, he argued that securing debt relief for Nigeria, a feat he achieved in office, was far more difficult than securing an extension of tenure. If I could get debt relief, he said, which was more difficult, then getting a third term would have been no problem if I wanted it, he said.
The former leader further cautioned against the dangers of leaders clinging to power, describing the belief that only one individual can govern effectively as a sin against God. He stressed that leadership is best exercised when one is young, vibrant, and dynamic, not when one has become frail.
Very well, and according to him, some people think unless they are there, nobody else can do it. But if God takes you away today, someone else will step in, he said, and they may do better or they may do worse. We still have Barrister Ufeli and Emeka Madunago at the other end. Thank you so very much, gentlemen, for hanging on.
Very well.
So, Barrister, let's start with you. What do you think of all of this? He is still alive, so he is there to tell his story. He has said that he never sought for third term. What's your take?
Maybe we should tell that to those Gen Zs who were not born that time. You can't tell us that. We are fervent students of history, political history for that matter. And I have been a conscious follower of the Nigerian politics and governance as young as I was age 6. My first transistor radio, I got it at age 5. So there is nothing he's going to say about that. Let me ask Obasanjo a question. The rift between him and Gali Naba, the late Gali Naba, the then Speaker of the House of Representatives, was as a result of what? His rift with Atiku, the then Vice President of Nigeria, was as a result of what? What created order? See, we must not distort history. It was in this country that he began the third-term bid during his second term in office. And then PDP held sway, you understand? And many of them, some of them who were subservient had caved into that arrangement, and democracy was fledgling then. You notice that before he did that, he had retired all military personnel who had held political position in Nigeria before that time.
So you think it's because of that he had to do that?
There were so many. Of course, the fear of the military striking again, because as at that 1999, when we resumed the Fourth Republic, nobody knew it will last this long. It will stay this. I mean, that was why most people didn't take it serious. Okay? So he did that calculation very well, retired all of them, and started plotting for that third term. It was all over the news. You understand? Members of the House of Assembly, the National Assembly, were being interviewed on a regular basis. The conversation was in the front burner. It was all over the place. You understand? He made an attempt, only that he failed at the attempt. You understand? So it's too late in the day for him to come out today and say that there's no Nigerian living or dead that can produce evidence or whatsoever it is. See, we as citizens, we are material evidence. We are witnesses. What evidence is stronger than the evidence of a witness? Someone who witnessed what you are saying.
But for the man himself, he is old enough to understand that...
It's lying. It doesn't matter how old you are. They say we should not say others are lying. It's economic with the truth. It's been economical with the truth. Yes, that's it. He's not saying the truth. And this is a disservice to the younger generation. A leader, an elderly statesman should not talk like this. He should tell us what inspired that confidence in him to want to debase a constitution he took an oath to defend. A constitution that made provision for 4 years, 2 terms. He should tell us whether he was being inspired by the likes of Mugabe or the likes of the Cameroonian president.
Paul Biya.
All of them were, as at that time, they were already 20 years in office. All these persons I'm mentioning. They were 15, 20 years in office. How those people, they should just tell us the truth as to, I was trying to toe the way of this particular Ugandan president. Or
Museveni.
Yes, that's what they should be saying. They should not say that to us, because not only were we witnesses, we knew the altercation that followed that decision and how the country was. People were even calling the military to come and take over at that time. Okay, so I mean, that's a no-go. I don't think you should go there.
Okay, so but if Nigeria were to experience a similar situation, right? Does the Constitution provide adequate checks and balances to prevent indefinite rule?
Of course, now the Constitution is very clear now. The Constitution says you can be a president for 4 years, 1 term, and another 4 years. You can't go beyond that. You understand? You can't go beyond that. So once you have done that 8 years, you no longer have the right under the law to do that, to want to contest and make yourself come back or a 3rd term. Even Jonathan that did succeeded Yaradua. There was a time there was an argument that he cannot even contest again, let alone you that have done 2 full-fledged terms. And you were trying to negotiate the third one in your second term when you were stopped by the nation. It was stopped. Because it's not, you can't tell us that. I followed Obasanjo's antecedent very well. He wrote a book then he called The Animal Called Man. Powerful book. So we know these things he's talking about. He tried to do that and he failed at it.
Emeka, I would love us to take on this particular point. Of course, we have evidences on that particular allegation of desiring a third term. One of them is a constitutional amendment proposal, and then Senate President Kenan Namani equally asserted that Obasanjo had expressed interest in the third term bid. Why do you think Obasanjo would refute all of this evidence, or is someone trying to blacklist him or maybe spoil the awesome legacy that he had going on? Emeka?
Did you say awesome legacy?
Well, he helped us, reap off our debts, which if had allowed, I don't think we would have been able to carry them.
No. Let's get things right. Let's get things right. Look. That debt negotiation was okay. It was in order, but it was not a fantastic negotiation. At the time he came in, price of oil was very low, $9 per barrel. Now, gradually, the price rose. And then, of course, there was a proposal that, okay, why don't we write off some of your debt so that to put Nigeria on a better footing in terms of debt to GDP? Yes, the African average, the West African average for debt to GDP is 70%. The World Bank IMF average is 40-45%. So it was a negotiation so that if you reduce if you agree to, if we do a debt repayment, then that will boost the confidence of foreign investors to come into your country. It's as simple as ABC. So there was nothing fantastic he did in the debt repayment. The money was there to pay. A man who is owing and goes to a bank that, look, I'm owing you 1 billion. Okay, if we can write it down, remove charges and all these things, I have 600 million. The bank will think about it that, okay, 600 million, we pay off and everybody goes home happy. So back to what he was talking about in terms of a third term. You see, all of those stories are just tales by moonlight. I was a journalist who was on ground, covered many of these things. For what reason? For what reason was a senator from the southeast routing bribes to his colleagues through a commercial bank? The bank is now moribund. I don't want to call the name of the bank, but the bank was.
Are you still there?
Or somewhere in Wuse, a popular dual carriageway in Abuja, one of the major routes in Abuja. And they were routing bribes of 50 million naira to senators then. For what? Was it because they just wanted to dash them money or what? Then a lot of things happened within the period, because why? Certain people wanted to protect their interests. They felt that, okay, he should continue in power. And that is the reason why people should not play God. Because in trying to play God, you will make mistakes and you will ultimately flounder. Obasanjo got carried away by the grandeur of the office. And certain crucial decisions he should have taken, he didn't take them. Look at the GSM, for instance. Remember, Abacha had already started GSM by 1998. He had actually licensed a firm, I think, owned by Chaguri. If I'm not wrong, in 1998, they had already put up their banners on Third Mainland Bridge and everywhere, and they were ready to roll out when Abacha died, So the GSM template was already on ground. Then he came in, former DG of NTA, I met with him, and then, that why not implement the GSM? It's a hot technology. And some people around the world are saying, no, national security, blah, 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 blah. And the former DG of NTA told him, look, better go ahead with this thing. It will pay Nigeria. And he went ahead. And look at how GSM, blossomed. But when it came to NEPA, he couldn't actually wield that influence because he didn't want to upset the North. He didn't want to upset certain interests in the North. That was why. And then on and on and on and on and on, and he got carried away because people were praising him, But they had forgotten the negotiations that led to his being, moved into power. Negotiations with the military to say, okay, he's one of us. Okay, let's find a way. If not, Ufeli was a better choice than Obasanjo. But when he entered there, what fantastic things did he really do based on what people is the expectations? So he should stop trying to make us look as if. Maybe we were on sleeping tablets. Yes, I'm here. We were not fully awake, and in Nigeria, we were not on the moon when that thing went on. There are many things that can be said. I hope at the right time, people will write books and come out to expose the total. He wouldn't have got it. There was nothing fantastic for him to say. I thought he should have used the opportunity to apologize to Nigerians for wasting the time of Nigerians. Because at the end of the day, I came across a magazine, some years ago, that was being published, the in-house, I think they call it Aso Villa magazine or something, an in-house magazine of the presidential villa. Where, as I saw that as at 2005, Obasanjo had already spoken, talked about Yar'Adua as a likely choice of successor. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, the late former president, then he was governor of Katsina State. So, by the time third time failed, then he now started talking seriously about successor and all of that. And they now brought in Yar'Adua to complicate. You didn't get total. You now brought in Yar'Adua that was clearly sick. You brought him in. Look at the entire system. Look at the entire political process was truncated. What did we get? Look at where we are. It was under Obasanjo we started having staggered elections because of impeachment of P2B. Look at impeachment of Ladoja. Look at the impeachment of Fayose, emergency rule. Look at that in Plateau State. Has the problem in Plateau State been solved today? The answer is no. So the thing is this. Look, thank God we're in the era of social media. At least records and even AI, so people can upload their accounts, their records of all these things, and then it's left to Nigerians to choose what to believe. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. So thank you, Emkan. So Barrister Obasanjo called tenure elongation a sin against God in quotes, right? So how does that resonate with Africa's seat-tight leadership culture? Like when you look at the president of Uganda and Cameroon.
Yeah, it underscores the fact that not only that the African leaders, not only do they not fear God, they are also not beneficial to the living. The whole of the African space by now ought to have been industrialized. But you see, we are complaining in Nigeria. If you go to some African countries, you will shiver. In Nigeria, we won't have people who come out like this on TV and will start to castigate and all that, castigate government. We were in Zambia last year. They are very compliant. The president just cough, everybody runs into the house. You understand? So we even have a liberal democracy in Nigeria to start with, and we're able to challenge government. In some African countries, you don't even dare say under democracy, let alone military. So, but with the likes of Rwanda and this other country, you understand? Perhaps they are going to lay a foundation. Nigeria seems not to be getting it right. Some other African countries will have to lay the foundation. South Africa is getting it very wrong because of their distorted view of the African space. They believe that they are special Africans. For whatever reason, they think that is correct. Largely because is a highly illiterate society. Highly illiterate society, yes. Where history is not taught. Even if it's taught, I don't think it's properly taught, because otherwise they will not have this issue of these xenophobic tendencies. Anywhere you see traces of xenophobic proclivity, you know that you are in an uncivilized, you are a place where citizens are uncivilized. It's only uncivilized people that are xenophobic.
Can we say that of Ghana?
Well, you could you say in Ghana's case there is a case of retaliation, largely a case of retaliation.
Oh.
Yes, largely a case of retaliation, because at some point in Nigeria we exhibited xenophobic tendencies, like chasing people, believing that Nigeria is going to turn to paradise because we were doing so well there.
Yes.
It turned out that the whole thing slipped off our hands and all that. But I'm talking about modern society. Modern society. I mean, in the days where we did that, we could be forgiven our sins, because I mean, at that time, it was not even under a modern state that we did all that we did. You understand? Largely also under military arrangement. Okay, and the rest of that. But right now, as we speak, the place that democracy is the world over, the kind of age we are, information age, okay, and the fact that even if your country is not doing so much educational wise, you have the internet now to search for knowledge, to travel, to do also. You should be in a place of awareness. That's what I'm saying. Citizens should be in a place where you can imagine, like in Nigeria now, when I say somebody is saying, "Go, don't come in." I mean, the Chinese, they come in here anytime they like.
Yeah.
Many of them don't even have the necessary document. We don't even care. You understand? Because it's not our priority. Our priority, some people say it's because there's nothing much in the country. You are the one saying it like that. There's a lot of things. Otherwise, the Chinese, they will not be here.
Yeah.
The Lebanese, they will not be here. Why would you say there's nothing in the country where you have 200 million people, over 200 million people? How you say? I was reading about Republic of Ireland yesterday. Okay, do you know that the whole of the Republic of Ireland, they are about 4.9 million?
Really?
Yes, they are less than the population of Ogun
Whoa.
State. They are less than the population of Ogun State. You understand? That's what I'm saying. So when we start to talk about Nigeria, it's just that the 200 million of us, they are not. It's not an empowered population.
Okay.
Yes, if it was to be an empowered population, there's no country like Nigeria or the whole world. Yes, but the population is more of quantity than it is of a productive. You understand? Yeah, if government had, put in the right parameters to turn over this huge population, which is highly a consumption population, into a productive population, that means goods and services from here will touch the whole corners of this world. And once goods and services touch the whole corners of this world, what it means is that our currency will be so valued. Maybe we'll be exchanging $1 with a naira to maybe the naira will be stronger than the dollar. That is why those who champion imperialism make sure that you don't have electricity. Yes, because if you have electricity will in a way coerce this population into a productive one.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because people will have to start up businesses, no matter how small. People prefer that Nigerians. That's why you see many people in the informal economy. Yes, because it is not an economy that is heavily regulated. When you're in that economy, you let maybe other boys who come once in a while to collect tax, forced tax from your hand. We call it guerrilla tax. Yes, they will put fear in you and snitch whatever it is. That is the only, and maybe landlord exhibitionalism, and maybe community and all that. That's the only thing you face in those kind of businesses. So every other thing is net profit, 100%.
Yeah.
You are in the informal sector. So if you have electricity, you're able to power that sector effectively. That's what made China. It's not because government built companies all over the place. It's because government created an enabling environment empower the schools to be able to teach productivity, then people, when they leave the trade school, they start up small businesses.
So, but do you think democracy is a problem for us? Do you think we should have adopted a better system of governance than democracy?
I think democracy is the best for us.
It's the best for us.
Yeah, I think so.
So where did we get it wrong then?
No, because we've had other systems of government before.
So it's only working?
When we were not, when before the amalgamation, it was different territories with their different monarchies. You know, some pre-colonial administration. You see the Oba setting of the Yoruba land. You see the Igbo Asafelos republicanism. You see the Hausa own and the rest, and other sub-communities were about. You understand? But principally, the reason we have largely failed democratically is because of the kind of democracy we are practicing. We are practicing identity democracy. And it's a very dangerous kind of democracy. The democracy that questions your identity, your state of origin. You understand? That factors your state of origin into your citizenship, which must fail. So Nigeria, therefore, is not a nation. It's just a collection of tribesmen. A collection of tribesmen. That's what we are. So we have not been able to coerce. We have not been able to come together as one. But in the true sense of it, we're actually one people. Yes. If you look at our history properly, you'll find out that, see, people say we are diverse. We're not even diverse. We're not diverse at all. If you go to a diverse country like the US, if you see a Hispanic, you will know. If you see a core Caucasian, you will know. If you see an African American, you will know. If you see, that's diversity. Diversity that is scientifically orchestrated from DNA. But in Nigeria, there's nothing that shows scientifically a difference between a Yoruba man and an Igbo man. And an Hausa man and whatever. The bloodline is one. Look at the language. Listen carefully. It's one language we are speaking. It's one language we are speaking. The Yoruba, see, several words like rice. It's called Osikapa in my language. It's called Osikapa in Igbo. It's called in so many languages in Kogi, Igala. If you look at the history, the tribal history, you will see the interconnectivity. Okay? That came in through, somebody did an analysis and he said that when they were complaining about the Muslim ticket, when Tinubu and Shetima came in, that it was not a Muslim ticket, it was actually a Kanuri ticket, because the Tinubu family in Lagos today was a man from Bronu that traveled down to in the 17th century or thereabout to Lagos here and had married a woman, didn't give birth, married another one. That one gave birth, then they had to name the children after the wife. That family is the same family with the family in Bronu. So that is not, so at the end of the day, if you, even those who say we're owner of Lagos, we're owner of Lagos, we're owner of Lagos, the Lagos history is linked to Benin, the Benin Kingdom. Okay? Apart from the Aborigine, Aworis and the others, by the time you put all this analysis together, we're talking about one people. You understand?
Yes.
In a diverse land, okay, because of the tribal issue. So to cure Nigerians' problem, we have to deal with identity politics. We have to begin to see ourselves as one. Then we're able to look at our problem effectively. It's because we have not seen ourselves as one. That's why we cannot diagnose our problem. Because, see, poverty does not know gender. It does not know DNA. It does not know any of all this thing. So the moment the identity politics is repressed, it will give us a leave, because what we do in Nigeria, because of that identity politics, when we get into office, and there's opportunity, what you do is that the DG of the government parastatal will now go and bring his own people, his tribal people, to come and fill in 80% of the, and give 20% to the others. Then his friend, who is a DG of the other one, when there are opportunities, he will bring 80% of his people, and then call this other DG to say, okay, bring 5 from your side. So at the end of the day, what they are doing is the proliferation of tribesmen's trade in politics. What they are doing, you're trying to save your tribemen from poverty. This one is trying to save you. So there's no loyalty to the nation. So what we have, yes, that's why they say that the definition of nationhood should be cohesion. You understand? But the reason people are so fixated and loyal to their tribe is because that nationhood narrative has failed. And identity politics is what we are doing. So until we repress identity politics and scale up effectively, there's another analogy given. Dangote is the richest man in Africa. He has huge investment in Lagos. He's from Kano. You understand? Okay, Obi Kubana have huge investment. He's from Anambra. He's in Abuja. So Obi Kubana should be more interested in the definition of the politics in Abuja as to how he favors his business and his person.
True.
Okay? Dangote should be more concerned about Lagos and how the politics of Lagos will favor his business and his person. Obi Kubana and Dangote, who is a northerner, who is a southerner among them? Who is a northerner, who is a southerner? You understand? Because even though you are from one, because we should get to, like in the US, nobody will tell you, even though they know their origin. So I'm from Texas, but you know, but 7th generation coming, they've been in another state. They vote there, they do everything there, the system there, they can contest whatever anybody can contest there. So until we're able to get that, some persons say we will not be able to get it through until this set of persons have all died. And maybe the younger generation can find a place to straighten the curve so that we can be of one face. If they think less of their origin, we have not started the journey because first of all, we have to take it off all those our national forms. NIN, they're asking you to where's your state of origin. Why are they asking you the state of origin? And if you don't feel it, you will not move to the next level. So we need to do away with all that if we want to really progress as a nation.
All right, very well said. Emeka, just before we call it a quit for the show today, do you think the segmentation of leadership in Nigeria, we have constitutionally 4 years for 2 terms, right? Do you think this segmentation is a necessary distraction that has kept us away from development in Nigeria?
No. Now other countries have some countries even have 5 years. You know, not at all. It's not about the length of time. It's not about the length of time. It's about the characters, the character in the people you elect into offices. That is what most important. It's not just about. Take a state like Anambra. Peter Obi was a governor, you know, for 8 years, even though he was impeached twice. But he left 12 years ago. You have a governor there who has spent almost 4 years still talking about Peter Obi that left 12 years ago. And Peter Obi told him, instead of criticizing me, instead of constantly talking about me, I'm a trader. I did my own as a trader. You are a professor. Do your own governance as a professor. But yet, you see that even despite being a professor, he's not professing what he claims to be a professor for. And that is where the problem is. People who cannot punch above their weight. People are underwhelming, despite all the fantastic titles, having gone to different schools across the world, elite schools. But look at them, look at it. Simple problems that they can just come down to the brass tacks and solve. They cannot solve the problems. There are thoughts and thoughts. Look at what Tunji Ojo is doing with passports. Do you know these proposals have been in the files? Successive ministers have seen those proposals and they did nothing about it. This one came now, implemented it, and is getting all the accolades. You know, I mean, and they name it subsidy. You know, if Buhari had gone ahead to start implementing subsidy at the time the PIA was passed in 2021, you know, I think it's September or so 2021. If you had started implementing it, you know, it would have, you see, by now, we would have gone very far talking about, you know, the downstream sector of the petroleum industry, would have gone very far. Then look at other things. But sadly, we are still stuck in, you know, I mean, all these unnecessary distractions. And you see young people who should be in the vanguard of demanding good governance. They are more interested in fighting for politicians, in being vuvuzelas for politicians, in insulting people. People could actually also become their destiny helpers in future. Why? Because of money they will get to eat today. So, there's no push for entrepreneurship. People are seeing opportunities before them. They are not taking advantage of the opportunities. At my age, over 50, I do different things. I'm into farming. But do you know, sometime last week, some people went to my farm and harvested cassava. So you can imagine. And those people won't be people of my age. They'll be young people. So instead of thinking, you know, of how to improve their lives, how to contribute positively to the economy, to the country, you know, they just engage in things that are distracting. Who's betting, you know, cultism and all of these things that will not advance them. So we need to do something about our values. Our values, we've lost our values. Our education is a disaster. It's a total disaster. You know, we are talking of a Chinese language, bringing in Chinese. What do you need that for? You don't need that for anything, because this is the first quarter of the 21st century. And then right now, what you can just do is with codification, codify your own language. Push it up. Let it become a global language for communication. And let me tell you, diplomacy is all about trade. That's what Mongo Park and the rest of them, you know, came to Africa to look for. Christopher Columbus, who went to the West Indies, that's what they were, trade. So what you do is that instead of substituting yourself under China, I know, yes, there are some Chinese schools abroad offering Hausa and I think some other Nigerian languages as courses. I agree. But it should be in such a way that you push your own, you push, you know, it should be a first mover. You use your first mover advantage to make sure that you are part of the international system. But here in Nigeria, this Chinese language thing now, is just so that we can get more aid from China. Of what benefit? And we just keep relying on aid. Look at the ginger market now. Ginger farmers are crying because when the US government some years ago gave them some ginger seeds and told them, I want to enhance your ginger business as part of aid, they planted it. Now the harvest have been wiped out. Ginger has become very expensive. So we must rethink our existence as a nation, as a country of over 200 ethnic nationalities, you know, and then our values, and then our education. Thank you.
It's a whole lot of mix-mash issue there. As much as we value democracy, other people who have embraced it have done something good with it. In Nigeria, we have not. I do not know how to really wrap my head around all of this. A very textbook example, barrister, is Paul Kagame of Rwanda.
Yeah.
He has said, according to him, that his style of leadership delivers stability and socio-economic progress, especially given Rwanda's traumatic history. Yet increasingly he's been authoritarian. So how do we balance that he has done well socio-economically, provided stability for the country, but he is sitting tight in office?
He needs to yield the place. That's the same sit-tightism. You are doing well, you are not doing well, you are still there. You understand? The fact that you are doing well doesn't mean you must be there throughout your lifetime. There are younger people who the good governance you've provided have helped to be educated. They will take it off from where you left it off, and they will do it better.
What if they destroy it?
They will not destroy it because the standard, the bar has been raised. Okay, the bar has been raised, so they will not destroy. They've tested good governance. You understand? We have not tested. Most of us have not tested good governance, especially those born between 80s and the younger generation. They are even worse. Okay, they've not seen good governance before. The only time we saw good governance was during Ambode's time in Lagos and Fashion last time. That's when the only time we came close to see what it looked like. Otherwise, before now, we just read about it. You know, we don't know what it is. So in Africa, they should leave the space for the younger generation. Today, we are talking about AI technology. AI is changing things: governance, face of society, the looks, smart city. Automobile, everything is turning around. You understand? So this is the time for the old order to live, to die. And in Dokwa, as we speak, the old order have been planted, and the old order is what they want to continue. To continue that we will remain moribund. I don't know how long we have to remain moribund, but there are new voices now saying the political market has changed. Some persons must give way for things to change, and that's exactly where we are.
Very well said. I just sincerely hope that all of this gets to the office of the president, most importantly, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, the reign of it's my turn is equally old-fashioned.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Like what Barrister said, there should be a change.
Yeah.
You know, they should be able to step down for the younger generation.
But at the same time, stepping down for the younger ones, Yahaya Bello is a youth, but he hasn't achieved that much. And their likes
is of the old order.
It's of the old order, but with the body of the millennial.
There are people who will also want to destroy things, not necessarily because they don't know what is right. You understand? So his own case for me is an exception. Okay, this country needs the younger generation. The younger generation need to manage this country. And if you notice, when this country was really moving fine, it was when younger people were managing it. The likes of Obasanjo were in their 30s when they became...
Go on.
They were young, so they could blend with the world at that time. Where the world was, they understood where the world was going to, and all that. That Tinubu shouldn't be our president. Tinubu doesn't know where the world is going to, as we speak. He said it, and I cannot be on social media because of
bullying.
He doesn't know anything about where the world is going to. So we need people who know exactly where the world is going to, who can, do things, and then look at our National Assembly, our lawmakers, and the rest of that. Do you know that each House of Representative member gets 1 billion?
Wow.
Yes. In my local government, in my federal constituency, if you see what the guy they used to, he built a 3-bedroom, one green, useless building that he built even away from the plan of the city. That's what he built as a constituency office. That's what he used 1 billion to build as constituency office. Then he built it just in his first term. Okay. His first year.
Yes.
This is second year now. He has 1 billion again. 1 billion, 1 billion. The senator, they are trained. Look, each of them get 2.3 billion each for community. You understand? So and then when you go to those communities, you see poverty bare raw. You see the way poverty is ravaging. They see the highest they do is to buy mosquito nets. That's the one that I remember. You understand? Others will just put the money in their pocket and go on vacation. Okay? Even that vacation, they will not even spend it in that village. You understand? They will take and the truth is that when they embezzle all this money, they cannot invest it because there's no economy to invest it. There's no economy to invest it. Because which business are you going to do? Now, power will not cripple the business. There's no electricity. There's also, at the end of the day, that's why once they're out of office for 1 year, they are broke. Because all the money they gathered, they are also in a dilemma. They cannot invest. There's no business. Nothing is running. No economy. So you see how the thing is still coming back to them, and they cannot be in office forever. You understand? So the successive lack of investment in the country, infrastructure, also affect the rich when they steal money and there's no economy to invest it in.
Very well said. We have to leave it at this particular point. Obasanjo has stated his mind that anyone with proof to show that he actually sought it for a third time should come to the open and let people know about it. We would wait and see how many people would come with proof to that particular point. Yeah. All right, that's just about the time we have. Thank you so very much, Barrister, for your time. Emeka, thank you so very much for being there. We truly do appreciate you, as always. All right, people, that's about a time we have to go. Thank you for making this a date. Please do well to follow us. You can find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally rewatch it if you may. You can see us at Enterprise TV 7.